Hey guys, I saw a video put up on Rumble by the Liberty Daily. If you're not familiar, the Liberty Daily is an aggregate conservative news site, the same way that the Drudge Report used to be, but now Drudge is a radical left-wing moron site. It's like my own site, jabberhouse.com, but I wish I had the time to update it as frequently as the Liberty Daily does, but I don't have the time. But anyway, they posted a video on Rumble about Elon Musk telling Joe Rogan on Rogan's podcast the real reason why he bought Twitter. It's going to blow your mind. It's pretty deep. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So I'm going to play the video. It's only about 2.5 minutes long, but there's so much in there. And of course, I reserve the right to interrupt so that I could bloviate at you with my own opinion. So here we go.
What has it been like? You've
Oh, by the way, he Joe's dressed like that because it's Halloween.
owned X for a year now.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and have a dream that you didn't do it?
I bet.
And your life is infinitely easier?
Well, it's certainly a recipe for trouble, I suppose, or contention.
What was it ultimately that led you to make the decision to do it?
This is important. Pay attention to this. What ultimately led him to decide to buy it?
I mean, this is going to sound somewhat melodramatic, but I was worried about that it was having a corrosive effect on civilization. That it was just having a bad impact.
He's absolutely right. If you are familiar with the Twitter file dumps and you went through them, you know what he's saying is true.
I think part of it is that it's where it was located, which is downtown San Francisco. And while I think San Francisco is a beautiful city, and we should
Now,
really
shithole.
fight hard to
Democrats.
kind of right the ship of San Francisco. If you've walked around downtown San Francisco, right near the FKA Twitter headquarters, it's a zombie apocalypse. I mean, it's rough.
They have guys that do videos of Philadelphia in the Kensington area. I grew up in Philly. I was several miles away and a world away, but I know the Kensington area. And now when he talks about zombie apocalypse, because of the drugs that are there, all right, the fentanyl and other drugs that are there, people are just, they stand, you've seen them, they stand up and they're bent over in half and they're not falling, but they're just there. And other people are wandering around like zombies in an apocalypse.
Have you been in that area?
Not lately. No.
Yeah.
I've heard.
It's crazy.
I've heard it's crazy. I've heard you really can't believe it until you actually go there.
You can't believe it until you go there. So now you have to say, well, what philosophy led to that outcome? And that philosophy was being piped to Earth. So, a philosophy that would be ordinary.
He means that the philosophy being piped to Earth was Twitter and other social media repeating what government wants them to allow and blocking, censoring, if you will, what they don't. That's what he's talking about.
Quite niche and geographically constrained, so that the sort of the fallout area would be limited. Was effectively given an information weapon, information technology weapon to propagate what is essentially a mind virus to the rest of Earth.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? He's saying he's calling wokeness a mind virus, and that Twitter was being used by our government to propagate the mind virus to the rest of our society. He's so spot on.
And the outcome of that mind virus is very clear if you walk around the streets of downtown San Francisco. It is the end of civilization.
I believe
it's not just propagating the mind virus, but suppressing any opposing viewpoints.
Yes. Well, in order for the virus to propagate, it must suppress opposing viewpoints.
There you go.
So,
now, isn't that what fascism is? They always silence the opposition to get their propaganda out. And the Marxists do the same thing, but the Marxists do it with violence, and the fascists do it using current law, abusing current law, misusing it to force companies to do with their will.
Because it doesn't stand up to scrutiny.
Correct.
Now, isn't it really interesting that Elon Musk has all these businesses and he's kicking ass? He has Tesla that created an electric vehicle that the leftists and the Democrats and everybody to the left of Lenin marveled at and wants the whole world to buy one to save us from climate change. And he has SpaceX, where he sends rockets into space. Imagine. We all know from NASA that the technology we gained from that program was more than just hang. He's doing a lot in that sphere as well. So you wouldn't believe the number of businesses that Elon has that you haven't even heard about. He's doing some really interesting stuff. Some boring, but a lot of it's really interesting. But it is something that he's never run into like real problems before with the government until he bought Twitter. But buying Twitter was not the reason why he started being harassed by the Biden administration. He started being harassed by the Biden administration because he wanted to turn Twitter into a free speech hub. And if that wasn't bad enough, he put the Democrats through the Twitter files where he dumped, through independent journalists, he dumped all the documents of Twitter that proved that our federal government was either working with or forcing social media companies to censor free speech, which I believe that makes the company a de facto government entity. I would love to see that tried in court somewhere. Now, if it weren't for the fact that the companies who do censor on behalf, most of them, of the federal government are a bunch of radical woke Marxists, I would feel sorry for them being forced by a fascist regime such as the Biden administration, who violate human beings' God-given rights to express themselves. Here we have a headline from September 20th, last month. Biden DOJ targeting of Elon Musk is intimidation pure and simple. And it says the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York is reportedly pursuing criminal charges against Elon Musk as to whether he failed to disclose personal benefits he received from Tesla. Do you have any idea what the Republicans in Congress, especially the House, had to do, what they had to go through to get documents that the Biden crime family left behind in their wake because they failed to disclose all the payments they received from foreign governments for selling the Joe Biden brand, meaning selling his office to foreign potentates? And yet the U.S. Attorney symbiote in the Southern District of New York felt the need that instead of looking at the Biden crime family or real criminals, they're going to go after Elon Musk. And if you think that Joe Biden was not involved in that decision, then I have some really wonderful miracle supplements I would love to sell you. Here we have the New York Sun with a headline, Biden's White House harassing Elon Musk for what appeared to be political reasons. Latest outrage is a lawsuit challenging SpaceX's requirement that employees be American citizens. Do you remember that? Elon Musk made a requirement at SpaceX that they had to hire American citizens. Joe Biden brought in 10 million illegal aliens, and he wants them to get jobs over American citizens. Don't believe me? Read the initial 40, I think it was, executive orders when he first assumed office. He says it in there that he will punish companies that don't hire illegals. So they're harassing the living hell out of them at SpaceX. Then we have one that was earlier this month, October 4th, Fox News with the headline, Biden's war on everything Elon Musk. The full force of the government is looking at Musk to destroy him and his company. So now that Elon has pointed out to Joe Rogan that the reason he bought Twitter is because Twitter was so big in social media and communications of what the progressives in government wanted to foist on the American society, and he saw the crumbling of our cities like San Francisco and others, and he felt that it was going to be the collapse of our civilization. So you have to ask yourself, after this interview with Rogan, what do you think the Biden administration is now going to very blatantly, very openly, and very transparently do to punish Musk? With every fiber of my being, I believe that the Biden administration was behind the state's jurisdictions of charges who went after Trump. And I believe they're going to do the same thing to Musk, a man that by all accounts is someone that they should be kissing his ass because he created a company that is right up their alley with the whole climate change nonsense by building electric cars, and yet they hate his guts because he's exposing them, the radical woke Marxist frauds that the Democrats really are. All right, so make sure you subscribe to our channel, share our videos with like-minded friends who want to stay informed with what's really going on. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.